Hey, welcome to my Debian 12 install along vlog. First of all, we have to make a USB flash drive with a live Linux on it, which I am doing with Etcher. It's a standalone tool for that. It's pretty cool because it's available for any kind of architecture, even Mac, the bottom of the barrel. Okay, there you got the image. You can put it basically anywhere. I have a directory called apps on my computer where all my standalone apps run. So I'm gonna make a folder there and call it Etcher. So now all you need is to download an image from debian.org and download that there. I'm gonna download the standard image because I wanted to test it too, but you can also look into other images. I'm interested in testing different flavors, therefore I'm go to this web page here and check out what they got, because you know I'm interested in Xfce as well. I want to see how well the newest install works. Gnome is interesting to me. I haven't used Gnome in 10 years I think, because I found it pretty bloated and lame, but I always end up using a lot of Gnome apps, and so I'm like, maybe I should just go back, embrace the lameness. KDE is a no, I just don't like the look and feel, but if you love KDE, all the power to you. Lxde, same, just don't like it. So if you're looking into something that is similar to Xfce, that could be an option. It's pretty lightweight. And then we have Mate. I haven't tested that either. Maybe I'm gonna test that too. So I'm gonna download Xfce and Gnome first and test these flavors with my Debian 12 flash drive on the new computer that I ordered, because the one I'm using right now has water damage. So this is going to take like half an hour. Let's just skip to the good part. Okay, time to check some checksums. You can do all of this in the terminal, by the way, and wget all the files and whatever, but I'm not bored, so we're doing this the lame ass way. Gonna open this checksum file. Let's do the Gnome ISO. That is this one. And then you wait for a few seconds if your computer is slow. And there we go. So this is our checksum. So yeah, this looks pretty much the same. I am actually just doing this using my Mark I eyeball, because I'm actually pretty good at pattern recognition, so why not use my brain every once in a while. I'm going to do this with all the other ISO files as well, and then I'm going to use Etcher and put one of them on my flash drive. Look at this ugly little bastard. My husband gave this to me. He has all sorts of weird flash drives. By the way, cropped flash drives are an issue with installations of Linux in general, and I recommend just using one that you haven't dropped multiple times or exposed to heat and stuff. So I have all my files and apps, and Etcher basically you can run it standalone. And I'm gonna make it executable, because it's not executable right now. Change mod, user group others, +X, done. And then you can run it from the shell or your file browser. Woohoo! There we go! Okay, and it's pretty simple to use. You just need to grab the image that you have checked before, like a pro, and then select your flash drive, which you plug into your computer, and then burn it. Make sure to not flash your hard drive. A pretty easy way to do that is to check the size of the drive, because usually your flash stick should not be like a bunch of terabytes or half a terabyte in my case. Also, there's already some Linux on it, which is Debian 11. Yeah, let's kill that motherfucker. And flash. And that's basically it. Now I'm going to wait until my new computer arrives and then put some Debian on it. Let's see if it's going to be Xfce like I usually do, or Gnome. Oh my god, back to Gnome. I don't know. Or Mate. Okay, it's time. Can I just say how flimsy this fucking USB-C shit is? Like, why? I get it with Apple, you know? It's a phone, but this is a computer. I gotta have all this shit anyway, so what's the point? Anyway, let's go. Should I dignify Windows with one startup? No. Let's go. Oh no. No, we don't want to start Windows. What the fuck? Dude, I didn't even start recording. Okay, how do I start this without starting Windows? It was so much easier on my other one. But I think they have some fast startup set up in the BIOS, so yeah. Come on. The Windows is fast on this thing though. Gotta admit. N of 12. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, it is F1 or F2. One of them. It's the BIOS. And now I'm gonna remove this whole fucking mess of a splash screen with no real option to enter the boot device menu. What kind of... Whoa. Ew, this is the ugliest BIOS I have ever seen. Dude, it's literally... It looks like a website. This is disgusting. How did it come to this? How did it come to this, Lenovo? Like, why would you do that to us? And there's a pointer. There's a fucking pointer. Lenovo, this is a disgrace. I would go back to my 370 just to have a normal BIOS for normal people without a fucking pointer. But I can't because I spilled coffee on it twice and I really need a computer to edit these fucking videos. Oh, clicking in the BIOS, that feels so wrong. You can set the system time here by clicking on stuff. Is it Comic Sans? It looks like fucking Comic Sans. Hideous. UEFI, fuck that. Fuck. Config. Beep and alarm. Oh yeah, let's get rid of that. There it is. Yeah, okay, let's leave it with that for now. Don't want to mess with anything that's unnecessary at the moment. Startup. Oh yeah, there we go. Network boot. This is the one what I'm talking about, like a quick boot. Yeah, I don't want that. Open key display. Boot device list option with F12. Okay, it was F12 after all, so that is good to know. Scrolling doesn't work. Okay, so let's use this. This is all looking good. Let's save and exit, and now let's actually restart this shit. And now I need both my hands to press F12 because FN F12 because we're being fancy. There's not even like a little splash screen that says press anything. Oh, now we have diagnostics mode, you know, with the F1 to enter BIOS message. And it's starting this fucking Windows again. I can't believe it. How many times do you have to press F12? 5 times? 5 million times? Oh my god, we're entering the boot menu. Thank god. Awesome. And the boot menu looks like this. Are you kidding me? Yes, we want to start from the fucking Kingston. There we go. And we are about to start Debian 12. And I'm sorry for the mess in the back of my room. It's do your taxes time in Germany. Now let's go. Now we're just gonna start a live system. What am I talking about? I'm starting it and you're just watching me being miserable. Pretty. I love it. I'm sure there is some fancy way to intersect this whole live system. I did put a screencast tool on this little memory card here, so yeah, let's see if that works. Okay, showtime. It has to be installed, so I'm gonna spare you that. I'm just gonna install it into some temp directory, but after that we hopefully can record the whole installation on the computer. By the way, if you ever accidentally get your screen locked while on a live system, password is live with a V. I did not have to Google that for like 15 minutes. Totally never happened. So yeah, basically I'm checking everything when I'm doing my installation. And one thing that is important to me is to check the Wi-Fi beforehand. So I think it remembers that. So thankfully my husband didn't make the Wi-Fi password super long and complicated. Like before it was my birthday, but now it's fucking shit with a bunch of underscores. And now I can basically test around a little bit here if I want to, but I don't. Anything that you install will of course not be there after you restart it and boot again from this little drive because it's a read-only file system. So either you take a USB drive and you have like 2 partitions where your software is on like the other partition and you have a bunch of standalone apps. There are also other methods to do this, I've been told, but I'm lazy. So what I do is I just put it either on another flash drive or I put it on a memory card, which was just lying around there. So I use that. So we're installing this. So, and if you don't know how to partition your Debian, then here's your cheat sheet, because you see that the current system is a Windows boot manager. We don't want that. That shit, and that shit. So we want to set up Xfce system, Debian, and a swap. I don't know why they put the swap in the back. I used to put the swap at the beginning of my drives. Like that is how I was taught by, I don't know, some professor at university. So this is the setup where you have the Xfce. Do you say Xfce in your language? We say Xfce, but it's like EFI. System, the Debian, and the swap. So what I want to do instead is I want to have the Xfce, the Debian, the home, and the swap, because I really want a separate partition for my files and everything. So that is what I'm going to do. And so if you're not really sure about how to do this, just take a screenshot, or a screenshot for idiots. And then you have the exact numbers and you can just look that up on your phone like a dork and be like, oh yeah, how many gigabytes do we need for the Debian? Oh yeah, 500 gigabytes for the Debian. By the way, you don't need that. You only need that for your home files, so keep that in mind. And then it's like 17 gigabytes for the swap. Oh, that's not what we're doing. We're doing 32. And then there's like the Xfce system with the 300 megabytes FAT32 system. Just, you see the formatting. Just keep the file system in mind and then choose reasonable sizes. You can look up the very interesting debates on this online. I am not getting into this. I'm just going to format it however the fuck I want. Let's go. We're doing manual partitioning, but if you don't know what you're doing, do this and just go with it. So in the next step, we're deleting all of this. Delete. Oh, can we select multiple ones? No, of course not. Delete, delete, delete. Great. So now there's a bunch of free space. Remember we had the partition. Going from megabyte to gigabyte, you want to take a factor 1024. That'll give you the exact number. And I love exact numbers, so I'm always just doing this in my head, of course, and totally not on my phone calculator. But by the way, we need 300 megabytes of Xfce space, so I'm gonna take 500, so generous. FAT32, and this is Xfce. So this is the Xfce system. Then the next, so we're gonna do the swap first. So 1024 times 32, that is 32768, right? Okay. Okay, so next partition is going to be our root partition, and it is X42. We're going to make it 64 gigabytes. So the last number by 2, which is 5536. And the last one is going to be our home directory, home. And there we have it. We have a very large file system here. Xfce system, swap, root, and home. I put the swap in the beginning because, I don't know, I just like it when it's open-end. I don't like it, like the fixed size partition is in the end. There's probably some hardware advantage to it. I mean, the idea behind it, like the ancient idea behind it to put it first, was because it is first on the drive when you have like a physical hard drive and not a solid state disk. And so the arm doesn't have to move so long. So like the radius is smaller and therefore it's faster. And we would do that in the past, you know, for all the boot partition and just all the partitions that you had to access on startup, etc. You would want all of this in the beginning, like on the where the radius is small and therefore the circumference is also small and therefore this is the fastest to access. But in the age of solid state disks, it doesn't make that much sense anymore, but I still like it because I'm old school. Okay, so that's it. And if you have a problem
with the installation. You know, if you did something wrong here, then Debian will tell you in the next step. Oh yeah, I forgot to flag the Xfce section with boot, so I'm gonna do that. And there we go. And I never use my full name. And the name that I use for the computer is usually something that describes the computer to me. I don't like numbers, I don't like long names, and yes, all my Lenovo Yogas are called YogaPad. When I was younger, I had a lot of X200 somethings. I used to call them ThinkPad because denk means think in German. With the yoga, there's really not a funny word that you can choose. What? My passwords don't match? Again? Okay, this looks good. Okay, I bet this is gonna go so wrong. Fuck me. Dude, shit, why is this is taking forever. I need to get my kid from daycare, so let's get this over with. I feel a bit stupid because I haven't installed a Debian with manual partitioning in a while. And since I've done this last time, which was about 2018 or something, I just didn't have the need after that because I never really used the home folder and I had really small hard drives. So I really got totally out of touch with the whole file system development. Yeah, that is shame on me for that. Anyway, if you do this and you don't have a job and a kid and a lot of stuff to do, just like read up on this kind of shit because it makes a lot of things easier. And if you don't read up on it, you know, at least know what each partition is. It's rather straightforward. And you can change the partitions later. I mean, with this kind of partitioning, you can't really change the partitions while the system is running, which is a little bit annoying. But I mean, you could change it by starting into a live system and then run gparted in the live system. And gparted is a nice tool which you cannot use if you use logical partitioning. So, but yeah, it's not really something I care deeply about, and I do think this is the prettiest Debian so far though. I got scolded for saying that I was a Windows user by some people. But actually, you guys, you know, it's easier to transition from being a power Windows user to being a Linux user than just going from being an average Windows user or let alone a Mac user to Linux cold turkey. That's actually hard. I don't want to have to do that. And I think that having used a terminal in Windows before, what do they call it? Command line, just command prompt? Yeah, command prompt's what we said for. I mean, the difference really is that Windows is a very, very supervised and strict graphical system. And you don't need the command line for anything. In fact, it is made in a way that it's more difficult than Linux. I think that actually Linux, if you have never used any system and you want to do it clean and nice from the beginning, I think that Linux is actually easier and more user-friendly nowadays than Windows. And user-friendliness doesn't come down to GUI applications, in my opinion. That is a force of habit because we have phones now. We used to have books. We used to have to read a lot of text. We used to be able to read man files. So I think this whole claim that having a GUI for everything makes it easier, fuck no. If I want to install something, I have to enter a one-liner in Linux and not even search for the package or anything. I don't even have to download it. Like in Windows, if I want something, I have to download an exit file. I have to put it somewhere. It has to go in the right directory. Windows doesn't automatically know what to do if, you know, you're in bad luck. And on Linux, it's just a one-liner, press enter. That's it. Like nobody can tell me that that is more difficult than installing something on Windows. And I mean, Windows, oh, we're done. I'm gonna save my video file and then we're gonna restart the computer and pray. So yeah, I mean, nobody can tell me that that's actually easier. And if you really want to clean Windows, you have to put in a lot of effort, but most people don't care if their Windows system is clean and if it's not spying and all sorts of stuff. They don't fuck with the registry. I did that all the time. I did remove all the Microsoft spyware from my Windows and I put in a lot of effort to encrypt stuff and make it more private, and all of this is just so much more straightforward on Linux. Like in the fucking installation it asks you if you want to encrypt your shit. Yeah, I get it. It's more common and people are more used to it because they have heard the name Windows so many times. It's a household name. But really, Linux is free, all you gotta invest is your time, and you will have a functioning system with a supportive community that you don't have to pay for and that you can rely on 24/7, because there are enough nerds to help you out with your really, really weird questions. And also, it's fun to know stuff that not everybody does. Anyway, let's restart. So yeah, that's it. Now my husband can finally have my old laptop and I can work with this laptop. I hope that the USB-C port isn't gonna die right away. I'm really a little bit scared of that. The Debian looks clean. I have internet access. That's just how it should be. And all my hardware seems to be working. So now it's just a matter of time until I set up all my applications. I hope you like this little weird vlog about installing Debian and me ranting about cliches. Don't be afraid of this kind of stuff. You can look it all up. If you're not sure about how to set up a system, you know, like when you come across partitioning or when you come across choosing certain things in the install, I mean, the Debian install is pretty straightforward. But let's just say you install Arch Linux or something else and you have to type in stuff manually and decide yes or no like 500 times. Yeah, hi, Arch users, I hear you, I've been there. And you forget about this shit. Like, if you're not like distro hopping, you're installing a new distribution like when? Every 1 or 2 years? So you forget all this shit. That's why you write technical notes to yourself or markdown files, right? Like, if you don't have LaTeX and you don't want to do it in HTML, just create markdowns. R markdowns, my favorite. I will put it on my GitHub and then you can download it if you want to have it. Other than that, well, have a great day. That's it.